please.
Certainly, Madam Chair. For this special meeting of the City Planning Commission, calling the roll, Mr. Bennett.
Present.
Mr. Daniels.
Present.
Mr. Esparza.
Present.
Mr. Harrison.
Present.
Ms. Lewis.
Present.
Mr. Russell is in transit. And Commissioner Smith is excused. And Vice Chair Secretary Udabi.
Present.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, you have a quorum present.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Are there any amendments to the agenda today?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, there are none.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Any support?
Support.
All those in favor of approving the agenda as is, please say so with the sign of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with the sign of nay? This agenda is approved. Excellent. And I see that meeting minutes will be provided at a subsequent regular meeting. We also today have no public hearings, discussions, or presentations, which means that we can move to the public comment portion. Would staff like to support? Thank you, Mr. Brule. Do we have any hands raised online for public comment?
Madam Chair, we do not have any hands raised.
Okay. I will like to acknowledge that, and I'd also like to acknowledge Commissioner Russell is now present. Welcome. And with that, I'll give 10 more seconds to see if a hand shows up, and if not, we'll call public comment after that. Mr. Brule, anyone?
Madam Chair, there is not.
And Madam Chair, if I may, just in case, we'll remind the audience that there are no public hearings on the agenda, so this is the only opportunity for public comment for this meeting.
Thank you, Director Todd. If anyone would like to share a 2-minute public comment, now is your chance to do so. Any hands going once, twice? Make your voice heard next time, and close. Thank you. And now we'll move on to our unfinished business item. This is the consideration of the request of Matthew Walters on behalf of the Goatyard Marine LLC, doing business as Detroit Boatworks, to rezone the properties at 2 St. Jean, 21 St. Jean, 95 St. Jean, and 140 Terminal Street from a planned development and M4 intensive industrial zoning classification to a B4 general business zoning classification. And we are joined here with Mr. Brule and Mr. Jeffries, maybe? All right. Please take it away.
Madam Chair, if I may share my screen, and if the petitioners could introduce themselves at the same time.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Matt Walters with the Walters Group.
Hanson Bratton, I'm CEO for Goatyard Marine LLC.
And Madam Chair, we do have a short presentation. If it is okay with you, I would like to start the presentation. The petitioners will take it over, and then I will move forward with staff recommendation.
Sounds beautiful. Thank you.
Before we start the presentation through the chair, we just wanted to express our gratitude to this body. First and foremost, the special session today, we really appreciate that. But I'd like to thank you to go far beyond that. Hanson and I, as you know, were here last week, and as we sat here listening to public comment, it was a very robust and healthy conversation. We had a conversation afterwards, the day after, about how we were here for that session last week, which again was a healthy dialogue and it was a great agenda item. But you all show up every 2 weeks, and and you stay till 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and this is an unpaid position, you're volunteering after work, and you have families. So it's a bit of a thankless job, and so we wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you and that we recognize that. So we appreciate it. I mean, the city of Detroit, again, you probably don't get enough gratitude for what you do, but it goes recognized. So thank you much.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, as you said, this is the rezoning for 2 St. Jean as well as 2195 and 140 Terminal from planned development and M4, which is intensive industrial, to a B4 general business district. We did hold the statutory public hearing on this rezoning on September 4th before this body. This is being requested to permit a marina expansion, including a boatyard, inside storage, new boat slips, a restaurant, and retail on the site. And the proposed rezoning would amend and remove a portion of the PD created by Ordinance 23-05, which is commonly referred to as Morgan Waterfront Estates. The portion of the PD that will be amended or removed was never seen through. The rest of the PD was built as designed, but this portion was supposed to be a high-rise luxury condo, or 2 high-rise luxury condo buildings that were never developed. And so by amending this, it would allow for other development on the site. Otherwise, the only thing that can go there are 2 high-rise luxury condo developments right now. This slide shows the subject site. Just as a reminder, the areas that are hatched are proposed to be rezoned from PD to B4, and the other area shown is proposed to be rezoned from M4 to B4.
Amazing. Thank you. You look amazing.
This is the current zoning again. It shows it is surrounded by intensive industrial as well as general industrial with residential zoning further to the east. During our public hearing on September 4th, staff had received prior to the hearing 1 letter of support from the president of the Morgan Waterfront Estates, HOA, stating that they were representing the board and that the board was in support of this proposed rezoning. 4 members of the public spoke at the public hearing and expressing their concerns, residents and property owners of the residential the residential homes on the other side of the canal from this proposed rezoning. They cited increased vehicular and water traffic noise and the loss of the downtown skyline view. Following the public hearing, though, our petitioners did meet with some of the residents that came out and spoke. They spoke in depth about these concerns, and they felt that their concerns were addressed to the point that 2 of them actually submitted a letter of support, which you received prior to the meeting last week. During the hearing, we also heard some concerns and comments from the commission, the need for engagement with members of the public who spoke during the public comment portion, which, as I mentioned, was completed by the petitioners. There was question on whether or not the rezoning would create an illegal spot zone, which I will go into further during the portion of this presentation that speaks to the planning criteria that we look at. But we did find that we do not believe that it would create an illegal spot zone. Whether the proposed rezoning would have any impact on the St. Jean boat launch and whether there are improvements planned for the boat launch The proposed rezoning would not have any impact on the boat launch, and there are no known improvements planned for it that we are aware of. You also asked if there would be programming for youth. Our petitioner did speak to that not not only would there be programming for youth, but there will also be employment opportunities that would be suitable for younger workers. And whether the canal is an appropriate width to accommodate the proposed development, which the petitioners will speak to later in this presentation. And with that, I would like to pass this off to the petitioners to speak on this matter.
Again, thank you very much through the chair. Thank you very much for having us this evening. We are excited about the project, and I would like to go through a few details and address some of the concerns that were posed by the adjacent homeowner that we have met with, the Millers, who were both present here in person on September 4th, and go through a couple other details as well. Again, just to remind you, this is the site. You can see the existing business just to the north of the 2 St. Jean parcel where the Goatyard Marina exists today, where there's, I think, 5 employees, about 60% of which are Detroiters. You can see the site, the 2 St. Jean site that is currently owned by the city and currently zoned PD. As we've talked about in the past, the current zoning of the Goatyard business is M4, and so a part of this rezoning would be to downzone away from M4 to B4, which we believe is more of an appropriate zoning, being in close proximity to the residential. Slide, please. This is the proposed site plan. It's probably good to dwell here for a minute just to show that the building is set back a bit from the canal. It would be about 2.5 stories large, so we don't believe that it would obstruct views from the homes because it's not immediately adjacent to those homes. There's already a tree line there today. We don't think it would be much higher. We think those homes would still be able to see the Renaissance Center and the larger buildings, the skyline that is downtown that they can see now. Next slide, please. These are a couple of the renderings, the boardwalk, which again, this is not a club. This is a public business, so the public will be able to access this site and access these grounds. One thing we'll get to, but one of the things that we spoke to the Millers about was hours of operation. So we've committed to. There might be folks that are there before 8 a.m., but we're not going to use any heavy equipment or anything that's loud until 8 a.m. Not like there'd be a lot of loud noise, generally speaking, but anything that would wake anybody up, we wouldn't be used until 8 o'clock in the morning. Next slide, please. Another rendering of the canal. Just wanted to make the point that this neighborhood is called the Marina District. So you do have the Rooster Tail, Riverside Marina, Sinbad's, which is all in close proximity to this existing site. And then, as mentioned, there's the St. Jean boat launch that would be adjacent to this proposed use. Next slide, please. Also just wanted to talk about what was there that was removed. So the height of the blighted industrial buildings that were there previously that we demolished, that the Goatyard demolished, were probably 30 feet, 25 feet in height. These buildings were demolished about 5-6 years ago. Next slide, please. And then also just wanted to bring up the seawall. This is, I think we talk about it a little bit later in another slide, but this is, you'll see a language from an Alta survey that talks about how this area is in a flood hazardous zone. And so building new seawall helps the area, helps the site, but also helps the area just because it's in this flood hazardous zone. So this is, obviously pre 6 years ago, and this seawall was built in the past 5 years, there would be a continuation of that seawall down the entire canal. Thank you. More before and after photos, the cleanup. Again, just this page we've already gone over, but it just shows the parcels and the rezoning, the current zoning and what the zoning would be reclassified as. Also making the point that, by right today, there can be a lumber yard, industrial laundry, contractor yard, several more welding shops, several more intensive uses at the M4 site. And we would be down zoning away from that so those uses would not be by right any longer. And then also to hit on the point that I think there are 18-story high rises that you could build by right today. That's what the PD calls for, 2 18-story high rise luxury condo buildings. So again, we think this use is more appropriate and more friendly to the residential that's across the canal. Next slide, please. So this slide addresses the traffic. You can see, it's kind of hard to see, but on the photo that's all the way on the right, there's a boat that's to the left. So you can get a bit of an understanding of kind of the ratio of that boat compared to the rest of the canal. And then the image that's in the middle shows the easement and where our slips would go. So I'm just going to read all the sentences on this page. The red line is approximate alignment of new seawall. The yellow lines are approximate boundaries of existing 90-foot wide water easement. Property lines between 2 St. Jean parcel and Morgan Estate Homes is down the center line between the yellow easement boundary lines. All boat traffic, including Morgan Estate residents, Detroit Boat Works, and the general public, are legally entitled to travel within the canal between the yellow easement boundary lines. The new docks and slips for the proposed project would be between the seawall and the left easement boundary line and will not impede any boat traffic within the legal water easement. Next slide, please. Again, just making the point about the seawall, and I took a screenshot from the Alta survey that just speaks to the federally designated flood hazard area. This parcel is located within a federally designated flood hazard area, so seawall is important to try to prevent flooding. Next slide, please. Key proposal highlights. I'm just going to read this word for word. Some of this stuff I'm going to be repeating what's already been stated. The Detroit Boat Works proposal for 2 St. Jean includes substantial capacity for employment opportunities for Detroit residents at many levels and skill sets. The city of Detroit marketed and RFP'd the 2 St. Jean property for redevelopment. This project was the winning and selected bid. So the intention of the city by marketing the site was to develop the site. So we're responding to the city of Detroit marketing the property, and that the adjacent site is the City of Detroit boat launch, and this will complement the City of Detroit's asset. The rezoning proposal is to downzone away from existing M4 zoning classification. An outcome of the project will be to construct a $2.5 million seawall along the entirety of the canal. This will help with flooding, which is a major concern in the area. This site, as I said, is in a flood hazard zone. The Detroit Boat Works project is projected to hire 30 to 35 full-time employees. Detroit Boat Works is an existing Detroit-based business registered with the Office of CREO. This project will clean up an environmentally hazardous site that is in close proximity to single-family residential. In a Phase 2 environmental report that was conducted, lead, asbestos, arsenic, heavy metals, volatile organic compounds were all found in the soil on this site. As part of the project, we would be remediating and addressing those environmental hazardous materials that I just listed off. Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm going to go over the planning considerations that staff analyzed for this proposed rezoning, as well as the master plan interpretation that Planning and Development provided for us. It was found that this rezoning is not consistent with the master plan and with the future general land use map. Though PNDD staff will consider changing the future land use map as a part of the master plan update that is currently underway. Our analysis based on the approval criteria in section 50-3-70 of the zoning code. I'm just going to go over these very quickly. And these are the applicable criterias for this rezoning. One is that whether the proposed amendment is consistent with the master plan and the stated purposes of this chapter. As I mentioned, the amendment was found by PNDD to be inconsistent, but there will be consideration of a master plan amendment in this area. Whether the proposed rezoning will have significant adverse impacts on the natural environment, including air, water, soil, wildlife, and vegetation, and with respect to anticipated changes in noise and regarding stormwater management. Staff does not anticipate that the proposed rezoning would have any adverse impacts on the natural environment. The project proposed for the site will result in extensive remediation of the site, cleaning up of the canal. As you saw in the pictures, there's sunken ships, things like that need to be cleaned up in there. Whether the proposed amendment would correct an error or meet the challenges of some changing condition, trend, or fact, the proposed rezoning would actually remove a portion of an existing PD designation that has not been developed as originally proposed. The existing PD, as mentioned, would allow for only high-rise multifamily housing to be developed on the site. This will increase the marketability of the current vacant land. And whether the proposed amendment will have significant adverse impact on other property that is in the vicinity of the subject tract. Staff also does not anticipate any significant adverse impact on other properties. And those concerns of the neighboring property owners that were brought to the staff and to the petitioners have been addressed. And finally, whether the proposed rezoning will create an illegal spot zone. So as we've discussed in previous matters, not every spot zone is illegal. We did an analysis to see whether the proposed rezoning would create an illegal spot zone at 45 St. Jean, which is the area that you can see kind of in the middle of the area proposed for rezoning. We looked at whether the rezoning would show favor to the petitioner over the adjacent property owner. This is one criteria that can be used to determine if something is an illegal spot zoning. And this is all coming from information put out by Michigan State University, which we also added as an attachment both last week and this week for you all to look over. We found that this would not show favor to the petitioner over that adjacent property owner. That property owner had the ability to join this rezoning. They opted not to. So this would not be favoring one over the other. And they are also aware of it. There have been communications with them. Would the rezoning allow for land uses inconsistent with the area? As Mr. Walters pointed out, this is in the Marina District. It is adjacent to a marina, adjacent to a canal. We find that it would not be inconsistent with other land uses in the area, and that the down zoning from M4 would actually be beneficial. And would a spot zone conflict with the master plan of policies and future general land use map? As I mentioned, it was found to be inconsistent, but PNDD will be considering a master plan amendment. Based on the criteria mentioned And on the public hearing and results of the public hearing, CPC staff does recommend approval of the requested rezoning of 22195 and 95 St. Jean and 140 Terminal Way from PD and M4 to B4 general business. And for members of the public, on the screen now is our contact information for any questions or concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Bruhl, for the presentation. Thank you, petitioners, and for your kind words. That's very sweet. And with that, I just want to say thank you, and I'll turn it over to my fellow commissioners if you have any questions or comments about what we were presented with today. I'll start with Commissioner Daniels, and then I'll... Okay. Oh, oh, you guys are going to fight. Commissioner Bennett, then.
All right, thank you. I'll be brief. Once again, thank you for coming before us. Yeah, I think this is a great project, and you seem to have thought things through, engaging with the nearby homeowners and, you know, assuaging their concerns. I think this would be a great use of this land and engaging with our riverfront and the community, which you spoke to in your prior presentation. So yeah, I'm all for this, and hopefully we can pass it today.
Thank you, Commissioner Bennett. Commissioner Russell? Commissioner Dan, are you both going to say the same thing? No. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just I'm looking at Google Earth, and I see, you know, and I know it's an old aerial, and I'm still not really clear. It looks like to the north, there's a boat yard there, or boat repair at the northern end, and I know the PD is wrapping around that. I'm just for my own curiosity, I just want to, and you had that slide with all the red and the little arc in the middle. What is that business, and is that going away?
Through you, Madam Chair, I'll allow the petitioners to answer that, as that is their property.
And I know we talked.
Yes. So Goat Yard Marine started at 95 St. Jean, which is just on the south side of the parcel that's going to remain M4. And we purchased that in 2019, and which is about 1.5 acres. And we were looking to expand, and the 21 St. Jean, which is the one that wraps around to the north, and 45 St. Jean, which is the one that is remaining M4, both went up for sale. And we were able to make an agreement with the 21 St. Jean owners. It was a vacant property for about the last 20 years or so. And the our property and their property happened to connect at the east end through about a 33-foot wide area, which used to be a railroad easement that went through. And we were able to take advantage of that to connect the two properties and get around the other business, which is Hackett Brass. They clean foundry parts. They have a foundry down the road a little bit, and then they bring the parts there to clean. It used to be heavily in the automotive business, and he's had the business for sale for a while, but hasn't had any interest from what I'm aware of. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
It did. Thank you. This whole area on both sides of the canal was one PD, or?
Through you, Madam Chair, to Commissioner Russell. If you look at the image, I'm going to see if I can pull up.
Your image might have been better.
A little bit more zoomed in.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you look at this image here, the PD goes, it is both north of the proposed rezoning and the foundry that was just discussed, and south of that. So there was just that little square of M4 left. The remaining area there is all part of that original PD.
Okay, so the PD stays where Morgan State Homes, that's all PD, that area.
Yes, through the chair, yes.
And then and then to the left where the city's boat launch is, that's another marina, or what's that zone there? That's PD as well?
Yes, through the chair to Commissioner Russell, where the boat launches is a separate PD.
Okay, but that's city-owned property.
Yes, adjacent to, yes,
And I'm really not
I believe so.
talking
Yes,
this.
the
Okay.
city, the boat launch.
Yeah,
You know, because I mean, I guess my point is, if this goes forward, that whole little peninsula is like a recreation area, and I don't know what, you know, the master plan or what. Maybe we should. That's an opportunity to get rid of the PD and let it.
through the chair, the PD as it stands, as I said, everything was developed other than this small portion.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the PD that's. I know that to the east it's all been developed, but the city's boat launch and the Riverside Marina, you know, is that, you know, since we're talking about it, is that the best zoning for those? What would help them, and if the city wants this area to be like a recreation area?
Absolutely. Through the chair, this, in the master plan, there are two different designations, as you can see here. So the area for the proposed rezoning is actually designated as low-density residential in the master plan, whereas that area just west of it and adjacent is designated for light industrial, which would allow all of these different marina-type uses. So they already have that designation for the adjacent properties to the west, whereas this one does not. This area was low density residential, and just next to it is already light industrial, which would allow for all those uses.
So where it says PD to the west is already zoned.
Yes, in the master plan,
on
yes.
the master plan, but in the zoning, we could match that.
Yeah,
So
to make it not PD.
and I wasn't really looking for you know, just food for thought on the road.
Yeah, through
And I said that because I was thinking that PDs are sometimes difficult to develop because people have to come before us and present a whole lot of extra things. And if the desire is to have that as boat yards and recreational area, maybe down the road sometime we could look at what that should be zoned so that people can develop it.
Through the chair, that is also the location of Waterworks Park, correct? Or the large Waterworks facility? Okay. So like, as I said, a lot of it will be based more off of the master plan than that PD right now.
Okay.
Because that is currently developed.
Okay.
Is that correct? But we can discuss that further as well and look into that and have a discussion amongst staff as well.
Okay.
To look at that particular plan development designation.
Okay. And there was a slide that showed the yellow lanes going and the red, and I understand that yours would be between the red and the yellow. You had a plan of the boat slips. I just didn't see how that. I'm trying to understand where the boat slips fall in that between the red and the yellow.
Yes, the red and the yellow, it is narrower up at the north, as you can see, and it's kind of pie-shaped. It gets wider as you get towards the river. And we're not allowed to build any permanent structures within that easement between the yellow lines because boat traffic is supposed to be allowed there. So the boat slips that we have designed come out at a 90-degree angle from the seawall, and they would extend out to the boundary of the easement, and each boat slip is sized to fit a boat that is able to fit in that area, limited by the boundary. And so we can fit anywhere from a 20 to 25-foot boat at the far north to up to a 40, 50-foot boat to the south.
And, you know, that was for my curiosity. This is, it's about the zoning. But I have one more question. So for the homes there, they can dock their boats along that in the yellow line?
They
and
currently
there's
do.
still 2 lanes of traffic between there.
Yes, it's a 90-foot wide easement, and so there, from a boater's point of view, that's quite a bit of room to maneuver.
Also, through the chair, we will not have slips the entirety of the canal. So it'll start, I don't know, maybe halfway through the canal or something like that. Oh, okay. 3/4 of the way. I mean, it's not going to go the slips don't go the entire way, do they?
About 3/4.
3/4, yeah.
Oh, you're right, about 3/4.
Yeah.
That was the end of my questions. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. And now over to Commissioner Daniels.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, great presentation. Thank you. I just had a couple of questions. What percentage of the property is contaminated?
Through the chair, the entire site.
The entire site is
Yeah,
contaminated?
the historic use of it is, Hanson mentioned the rail line easement.
Mm-hmm.
So freighters used to come into this canal, unload hazardous materials, some that were hazardous, onto the rail, onto train cars that would then go north into the whole Mount Elliott industrial corridor that obviously stretches through the city of Detroit north and then into the burbs as well. So this was there was a lot of materials and a lot of goods moved on this site, which is why it's never really been developed.
Okay. How soon, once this is approved, would you start the cleanup process? And how long do you anticipate it taking?
Go ahead.
We've been working on the design in the background and preparing for getting the proper permitting from Eagle and whoever. And our intent, if we can get all our permits, is to be working on this project in the spring. And I would think that we would have a handle on the contamination part of it within a year, 1 to 2 years, I would say.
Okay.
I mean, our understanding currently of the way that we would resolve the contamination is that we would contain it on site and cover it with membranes and pavement and such so that it's not accessible.
Okay. So it has to go to a Class 3 landfill
We will keep everything on site.
once you clean it up?
We'll,
Probably remediated.
sorry.
Through the chair, some will be remediated, but then as Hanson said, you can also go through a capping process for some of the site as well. But where the building will go, it'll have to be remediated. But there's also like soil vapor barriers that you can install also. So there'll be a range of techniques: remediation, vapor barriers, and capping.
All right. Well, thank you very much for those answers. And Madam Chair, if my fellow commissioners do not have any other questions, I would like to move approval of this agenda item.
Thank you so much, Commissioners. I would like to take a vote on Commissioner Daniels' proposal with support. All those in favor of approving staff recommendation to rezone the properties at 2 St. Jean, 21 St. Jean, 95 St. Jean, and 140 Terminal Street from a planned development and M4 zoning to B4 zoning, like staff recommended. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Excellent. Thank you all. And thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Seriously,
much.
Thank
We
you.
wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Have a good evening now.
Thank you so much. Excellent. And now we will go to new business, which is the request of Rock Economic Development Group for a minor modification of their planned development zoning district at the property commonly known as 1326 St. Antoine, generally bounded by St. Antoine, Clinton Avenue, the I-375 freeway, and Macomb Street, with Mr. Jeffries giving this presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If we could go around and do a round of introductions. My name is Kimani Jeffrey of the City Planning Commission staff, and I'm joined by the developer for this request. If you all would like to introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm David Smith, Vice President of Development with Bedrock.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eileen Solaro, Senior Director of Strategy and Innovation with Bedrock.
And we've got one other gentleman, not sure, James Witherspoon.
I believe he was promoted, but we will work on that, and maybe we can get started. And
Okay.
Okay, I believe Mr. Witherspoon is with us.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulty there. Jamie Witherspoon, Head of Architecture and Design for Bedrock.
Thank you. And Madam Chair, if I may, I will begin. This is a proposed update for Rock Economic Development Group. You all may remember this. This is related to the Gratiot Life Sciences building that recently came before this honorable body in the summertime. We can show, I believe we have, I'll allow the developer to go through the plans. But this came before you originally as a taller building. This is a minor modification to reduce the scale and magnitude of the building. I'm going to allow the developer to go into the rationale and the reasons behind this request for minor modification as staff is looking at this to be. I will say that according to the minor modification criteria, which you can find in the report that was sent to you at our last meeting and also just recirculated, according to 50-3-97, modification of approved plans in the zoning ordinance, it lists 5 criteria. Generally, those criteria are related to the size and scale of the building, the impact that it has on the surrounding area. And if you look at those criteria, it's largely, the gist of it is ensuring that a development that comes for a modification of the originally approved plan development isn't increasing and becoming more injurious to the surrounding area. So if you look at those criteria, this development would not conflict with any of those because largely it's a reduction of what was originally approved. So we're looking at it as being less injurious or having less of an impact on the surrounding area because of its reduction in size that is being proposed. So with that being said, staff can answer any questions at the end of this presentation, but I would pass the floor to the development team to just take us through the why of this proposal and the what the new elevations would look like. So with that being said,
Okay,
go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffrey. My name is again David Smith, Vice President of Development with Bedrock Detroit. I'd like to thank each of the city planning commissioners, and also the entire staff. We want to first thank you for, again, convening this special meeting to complete last week's agenda. We know your time is valuable and we much appreciate that. So again, thank you. Bedrock appreciates the opportunity to update the City Planning Commission on the development of the Graduate Life Sciences building since our previous presentation to City Council, as Mr. Jeffrey mentioned, that was held on July 29, 2025, at which time the PD amendment for the parcel was approved. Since that time, our largest tenant in August, just a few weeks later, unexpectedly withdrew from the project due to the loss of their principal investor. This unforeseen circumstance required us to quickly implement a design change that would allow us to keep our ground floor tenant in play. The revised plan features a reduced overall square footage, taking the building down from 5 stories to 2 stories, keeping the footprint intact, the footprint that we had before. The ground floor remains dedicated to our tenant, BAMF, that's BAMF Health, a company specializing in the diagnosis and treatment of advanced cancer and neurodegenerative diseases. To capture future growth, Bedrock has also added a second level of speculative life sciences space. BAMF's schedule is critically dependent on their previously approved time-sensitive grant funding from the state of Michigan. That is to be used on startup costs, including medical equipment and procurement, necessitating a rapid delivery timeframe. Bedrock's goal has been to retain this foundational tenant and to meet their required schedule by delivering the building within the critical funding timelines, allowing BAMF to open their doors and begin to serve their future Detroit patient population. In expanding from the west side of the state, from Grand Rapids to Detroit, this tenant will contribute significantly to Detroit's local economy by creating approximately 90 new full-time jobs with an average annual salary of close to $120,000. My colleague, Jamie Witherspoon, Senior Vice President of Head of Architecture, will take you through the plans themselves, the changes.
Thank you, David. Good evening. Thank you, Commissioners, Madam Chair, Mr. Jeffries. Appreciate your time. Reiterate what has been said a few times already tonight, but we really do sincerely appreciate you making time for us this evening. I'm going to quickly run through these few slides we have here just to sort of illustrate the status of the building, provide an update. Our first slide, if you'll skip to the next slide, we'll start with the site plan. And as David mentioned, the site plan remains ostensibly the same. You see it here. The main entry for our ground floor tenant, BAMF Health, is on Clinton Street. You see that with the red arrow. That's their primary entry. The primary entry for the second floor, that speculative space, is on St. Antoine, which you see in the other orange arrow there. Our loading area, which is noted, as well as the outdoor equipment yard, which existed in the previous scheme, remain the same in the same location, slightly smaller than they were before, given the reduction in scale of the building, but located in the same area. And as you see indicated in green, significant landscaping around the building as well. If you'll skip to the next, we'll look at the building in axonometric here. So the two images on the left indicate the current design of the building. It's a 2-story building, as was noted, about 90,000 square feet. The footprint itself remains the same, very similar to the previous scheme. And you see on the right an indication, these aren't renderings, these are precedent projects, but we wanted to give a sense of the way that we anticipate this building being articulated, both in terms of materiality. So we are keeping brick as the primary material, similar to the previous scheme, and highlighting that with entry canopies, similar to the previous scheme, and then using variation in window patterning to bring some depth and interest to the facade of the building. We'll continue to use aluminum composite material, which has been the sort of strategy for the canopies, and that will continue forward in this scheme as well. I think we can go to the next, which just highlights, showing it in elevation, you get a sense of the overall elevation of the building. So the Clinton elevation to the north here, that's that primary entry for Banff Health, large expanses of glass, and you see that rhythmic patterning of windows. Very important that lots of natural light is brought into their space, hence the significant window sizes. The east elevation and west elevation similarly patterned with windows. You have the entry on west at St. Antoine for the upper floor tenant. And then the south elevation on the lower left of your screen, services loading, additional back of house for Banff. This is also the frontage that fronts the casino garage, if you're familiar with Macomb in that particular area. And so directly across the street from this would be the casino garage. And then I believe the last section we have here is just a rendering of the intended design here. You see all of those features coming together with some of the plantings and the way that this sits in the site itself. So this is at the corner of St. Antoine and Clinton Street. And I think that is the end of our presentation, illustrating sort of the continuity of the design. Certainly the site plan remains very similar to the previous design, trying to maintain similar materiality, large window openings as we move this project forward. So again, in closing, really appreciate you all and your time, and I will pass it back off to Mr. Jeffrey.
With that, Madam Chair, that concludes our presentation. We're definitely here to field any questions that you may have.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Jeffries and our petitioners. To my fellow commissioners, do you have any questions or comments? Commissioner Esparza.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I have a question. I know that we've described this as a minor modification, and it appears dramatically different from the original proposal, 5 stories going down to 2. So if it was an increase, let's say they went to an 8-story, would it be a major modification?
Through the chair, we would consider that a major modification, generally speaking, yes.
All right.
Through the chair, if I can just add to that, if you look at the 6 criteria in the that are taken from section 50-3-97, 4 of those criteria are applicable to an increase in the gross floor area or an increase in coverage by the structure, an increase in injurious effects to land uses. So the large majority of the criteria are looking at increases. There is a criteria that looks at a change in character of the development. That, could be subjectively looked at as this definitely is a major change in the elevations of the building. One that we initially wanted to see if there was something that we could do about this. We worked with the Planning and Development Department to see, we wanted to initially see if there was some way to sort of meet in the middle. But after working with the developer, hearing the rationale and the reason for the change and funding deadlines, as well as hearing back from the Planning and Development Department that they had little to no design remarks. We felt that this could be taken under a minor modification point of view and review. But I definitely understand the opinions you may have on that. I definitely understand how that could be taken in that way, as we were also disappointed, as well as I know that the developer might have been disappointed to lose the tenant that caused this change to be necessary.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks for your question, Commissioner Esparza. And to piggyback off that, I would be really curious to hear if the architect or anyone else on the development team can explain the choice to keep the same building footprint but cut down the number of floors. I'm imagining an alternative where you could keep the same height of building but have a smaller footprint and more green space or other uses for the community, et cetera, et cetera. So I'd love to hear about this rationale.
Sure. I'll start. Jenny may add in, but the one key thing here was because of the tight timelines, these are real deadlines, getting them in and operating to switch the floor plate at that point would take a lot more design and put them, would make us not able to meet the deadlines. Jamie?
Yeah, and it's a great question. This particular tenant, given the business that they're in, had a requirement for contiguous ground floor space. So because of how they're processing patients, it's a bit of a Swiss watch of how their whole operation works, and it actually necessitated the footprint and that we're providing for them.
Thank you for explaining that. I can understand why the first floor tenant would want a larger footprint, and I also see that this is a pretty big departure from what was there before, so I'm just curious about the need to squeeze this in on the tight timeline if there are some questions about it, but with that, I'll pop it over to my other commissioners. Commissioner Lewis?
Has the use, BAMF, to staff, Mr. Jeffrey, BAMF was a part of the original use, if I recall correctly.
Through the chair, that's correct. They were.
And there was a loss of a tenant, which indicates they don't need all of that square footage. Is that correct?
That is correct, through the chair.
If they wanted additional square footage in the future, would they be able to build up?
Through the chair, they are actually BAMF, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but BAMF only actually needs one floor. So they're building an additional second floor to allow for growth. But that's actually not even necessary for this tenant at this time.
Okay. Further out in the future, if they wanted to build 5 more floors, could they build up?
Through the chair, I know that those type of additions are possible. I'm not sure if they would be, if this particular developer would be interested, but that could take place.
Okay,
Commissioner, I'm happy. Oh, I apologize for interrupting. Happy to weigh in on that if it's helpful. We do have plans, for a 14-acre mixed-use, multifaceted innovation district. So to answer your question directly, we would hope to accommodate additional growth, ideally in precision medicine or life sciences, or an adjacent use in future phases of development, rather than adding to the complexity of this particular building and subsequently the design timeline and construction timeline of this building to be able to accommodate future development on top of BAMF's footprint.
Thank you. I appreciate that answer. What impressed me about this development is the responses relative to the cancer research that is going to go on and the ability of Detroit residents to become involved in that research. And I'm thinking not only research, but the possibility of possible cures. And so to me, the use hasn't changed. The building changed for circumstances out of their control. And I'm very comfortable with moving this forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Lewis. Yeah, of course. Commissioner Russell and then Commissioner Bennett.
Mr. Jeffries, the, I understand what was said and the need to do that. In this area of the Central Business District, what was envisioned as far as mass and scale in that area?
Through the chair, I would say because I don't have the site plan in front of me that we originally showed when this first came before you, but a large portion of that area is zone B5. So B5 is what most of the downtown Central Business District is zoned for. That usually is intended for high-rise buildings, things of that nature. Not that that's required, but that is, that's a zoning district that facilitates that.
And this, so what you're saying in your recommendation is that this fits in this area with what else is going on down there and in the near future?
Through the chair, honestly, I think we all would have wanted to see the original building that was presented to this honorable body. However, given the circumstances, we understand that that is not feasible in this time frame, at least. However, we do know that the developer is planning. Plans are not, they will be forthcoming in the coming years, but we believe that the totality of the site that they control will help to bring about an even more appropriate type of master plan with some of those high-rise type buildings that we might expect that would be able, as was just spoken to, that would be something that could be achieved with other buildings in the future. So while this building may not be on that scale, there may be other buildings forthcoming in the future as a part of that, the rest of those acres that they control.
Okay. And then this building is, I'm looking on Google Earth, and it shows that that's coming down, that whole site.
So
What was there?
the building that this building will replace the former juvenile detention facility that's been demolished as of this summer.
Thank you, Mr. Jeffries. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Russell. Commissioner Bennett.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you for the update, and I think we all agree it's disappointing to see to see the reduction things happen. I hope that in the future in this district, because I know it's had some changes and false starts and different ideas, what the intended use is going to be, that it does keep down this path, with meds and eds and diversifying our economy. I think this life science is something that's really necessary for access for the choice for healthcare, but also for keeping people, engineers and things like that, and doctors, and just having that type of activity downtown. So hopefully there is the demand and the ability to have other buildings of larger scale, because I think it may stick out, having that 2-story building, kind of there amongst mostly mid and high rises, but it is what it is. So if no other commissioners have any criticisms, concerns, I'd like to move forward with approval of this item.
And with that, I'd like to bring up this motion, the request of Rock Economic Development Group for their minor modification of their PD at 1326 St. Antoine. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. There you are. Thank you so much, and thank you, petitioners, for coming in and bringing your project. And like Commissioner Lewis said, we're really excited to see the positive impacts of this development and what is more to come. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Jeffries.
much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you all.
Madam Chair and Commissioners.
And with that, Director Todd, do we have any staff reports?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, just one item of note on the staff report. Given that we had this special meeting today, and that unfortunately it appears that for your regularly scheduled meeting of next week on the 16th, there's only one item that would be ready, but it itself is not quite ready. Staff would like to recommend that we cancel the meeting of the 16th. If you in fact concur, then your next meeting would be November the 6th. So 3 weeks before your next meeting.
Do we vote on that?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
All those in favor of canceling next week's meeting and having our next meeting be November 6th, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Well then, there you have it.
Thank you, Commissioners. That completes the staff report.
Thank you so much. Are there any member reports? All right. I see no member reports. Are there any additional communications?
There are none.
And with that, I adjourn this meeting at 7:20, a different time than last time. Yay.